Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living Love Stream. That's right. Today, let's get together and feel all right. I'm so excited because we're going to be feeling all right with Reverend Elizabeth, but we're going to start off with Amy Steinberg. We're so excited to have Amy here all the way from Asheville, North Carolina. Amy, thank you for being here. We're excited to have you, and let's let the people hear what you've got to offer up. And also, if you're just starting to watch us, please share this video, start a watch party, because there's somebody out there who's going to really hear something special today, whether it's through Amy's music, through a prayer, or something that Reverend Elizabeth has to share with us. So without further ado, Amy, take it away.
Good morning, Central Coast. We're right where we need to be. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. I am a blessing manifest, and I can't undress the moment naked. Time unwinds beneath my mind, and from within I find the kind of beauty only I can find. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. I am surrendering so willingly to be the perfect me inside this now, and truly, how else could it be? Destiny, she blesses me. Destiny, she blesses me. And when I try to fight or run, I only wind up back at square one. And when I think I know what's best for me, well, fate, she takes me back to exactly where I need to be. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. I am divinely timed and shining brightly. Yes, I believe that there's a purpose just for me. Yes, I believe that we are light and we shine infinitely. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. I am not aimlessly existing. See, I am in perfect harmony with universal energy, and I am truly free when I accept my own divinity. I invite you to raise your right hand right now. Say, I accept my divinity. Look at me closely. Tell me exactly what you see. If you are paying attention, you will now begin ascension of the mind. Why? Well, because if you look at me just right, you see a kiss. It took a kiss to make this breath exist. The intersection of my mother's and father's lips to touch, twist, perfect what came next to produce me. Yes, look at me and you will see the breeze. The breeze it took to shake the leaves to make my mother's hair move. My father dared touch it and say, please, may I have a kiss? Yes, the breeze made me exist. And if you want to get even deeper into this right now, when you look at me, you will see a big old cloud. That's right, the cloud it took to form the storm, to make the breeze, to shake the trees, to inspire the lip lock. Yes, a raindrop will pop up out of these words. You heard me right. Look at me close enough, you will see a dark, stormy night. And what is night? Well, night ain't night without its polar opposite of sunlight. So if you watch the way my hands sway, you see the light of day. And every day is a testament to the sediment of the earth's core. It's ever spinning enormous force. So when you look at me just right, you see a spark of the source. But the most fascinating thing about this, and it's true, you look at me just right, you see you. It's only what you perceive, how you believe, the space between you and me that creates this beautiful reality. So when I sing, you can feel it. When I cry, you can heal it. When I speak words, you can be the words I speak by singing them with me. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Peace, sing it with me. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Peace, yeah. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Yeah. And when I try to fight or run, I only wind up back at square one. And when I think I know what's best for me. Well, ha ha ha. Fate, she takes me back to exactly where I need to be. And when I am all alone and full of fear, I just remember the rising sun always appears. And every day miracles that I see. Would you take me back? You shall take me back. You shall take me back to exactly where I need to be. Oh, yeah, yeah. Am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. Join me singing that. It's a mantra. I call it a mantra. Okay? Mantra. I'm exactly where I need to be. Come on, do it with me. Here we go. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. Come on, try it one time. Try it one more time. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. At Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living in California, through the internet, yeah.
Woo! Oh, yes. I love it. Thank you so much. We're so blessed to have you with us here today, Amy. Woo!
Love you.
Love you. Oh, my goodness. Amazing. So I just so love these musical geniuses that we get to have join us at the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living. We're so blessed, you guys. I mean, that song, I am exactly where I need to be, at first, right? Seems like that's the affirmation. And then it goes into this like amazing teaching about oneness. And so it's so perfect for the talk today. But first, I would like to say hello. I'm Reverend Elizabeth Rowley, and I am the spiritual director and senior minister here at the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living. And the center is actually physically located in Templeton, California. And we're broadcasting to you live today from our condo. Travis and I are here in San Luis Obispo, and Amy is in North Carolina, and Gina is in Paso Robles, Reverend Diann is in Los Osos, and Charley's in Atascadero. So it's a good day to be in service together. And welcome to the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living, where all that we ask is that you remain open to the possibility of changing your entire life by changing your mind. This service has been designed especially for you. Welcome home. We have an affirmation that I will now read, and I invite you to please repeat after me. I recognize that oneness does not equal sameness. I see, honor, and respect the unique expression of all of life. I am one with divine intelligence. I claim harmony, acceptance, and love for all. And so it is. And now, my dear friends, we'll turn it over to my beloved Travis Hogue, who's going to introduce Amy.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Travis, and I'm the music director here at the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living. It is my honor to introduce Amy, but I'm going to read a little bit from her bio and try not to embarrass her too much. So from her bio, singular is the word that best describes Amy Steinberg. Oh, first change. Awesomeness is my word. Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay. As we go on. Uplifting, enlightening, and hilarious with a voice that can burn the house down, Amy Steinberg is a singer, songwriter, and storyteller like none other. Of course.
I wrote this.
Yeah. This is great.
I mean,
Great. The main thrust of her work comes from marrying the sacred and profane, fusing the dreamlike nature of spirit with the rooted realness of sexuality and humor. Yes?
yes.
Plays piano and guitar with her own swingy rhythmic bounce, injecting shades of jazz, rock, hip hop, and poetry with all the theatrical flair. Deeply soulful with her bombastic belt, and she sings of self love, open mindedness, and the holiness of everything. Yes, this is true.
I just have to say something to you, Travis, about the word bombastic, because of course, I wrote that bio. Everyone who's watching, and somebody had called me bombastic once, and I was like, "Oh, that's such a great word." And then I looked it up, and it actually just means noisy.
Wow. All right. So, credentials. Amy has been music director at the Boca Center for Spiritual Living, the Spiritual Living Center of Charlotte, and is currently the music director at Universal Spirit.
Not true. Old bio.
Not true. Okay. I'm getting to what you're doing now.
Yes.
Deeply involved with New Thought and Positive Music World. She plays at conferences, well, before pandemic, but you're doing online stuff. Churches, venues, and festivals all over the country. Amy's song Burnin' Into the High won Personal Transformation category of the 2016 Posy Awards. And pretty much, I hope that you're in every category for this year's Posy Awards. I mean, this is like, woo!
I don't think I got a nomination.
We're gonna change here. Okay, wait a minute.
Okay.
We're not done yet. Amy is also the creatrix and founder of the House of Love and Light.
Yes.
Holla!
Holla.
She has been ministering and teaching with her music and words since about 1992 when she began writing music. When singing and giving spiritual lessons, Amy has one main goal: to make you feel good.
Yeah.
She's been making us feel good for a long, long time. Check out her amazing website for more information. You can see it scrolling across here. And the Holla website, the www.houseofloveandlight.org. And we watched your Facebook House of Love and Light service this morning, which was fantastic. One last thing, her discography is deep. 10 albums and CDs with the latest Shine Be Glorious, which is my favorite of the moment, and other favorites: Love Divine, Intimate with the Infinite, Broken Open, Must Be the Moon. I mean, you've got a deep catalog.
You're making me
love you
cry.
so much. It is my honor to introduce Amy Steinberg. Light us up, Amy.
Oh my gosh. I just want to say my face hurts right now from smiling. Wow. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to do a little chant right now for all of us to sing. This is a song that came through me. I was sitting outside. I'll never forget the moment. It was soon after my dad had passed, and I could feel him in the air. I could literally feel his essence surrounding me. And so I wrote this song. It's very, very simple, so you can sing along with me. It's just a little chant called Love, Sweet Love. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love, sweet love, comes through. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love is the only truth. Love is the only truth. Love, sweet love, surrounds me. Join me. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love, sweet love, comes through, surrounds me. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love is the only truth. 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 Once more, love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Comes through. Love, sweet love, comes through. Love, sweet love, surrounds me now. Love is the only truth. Love is the only truth. Love is the only truth.
Wow. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. That was awesome. We are having a little bit of technical issues with the sound, Amy. So if you could log out of the stream and then log back in while I'm reading some announcements, and then we'll bring you back in for the birthday song. Good morning, CSL. That's right. I'm back. I am the announcements angel, and we will bring Amy right back to sing August birthdays for us.
Hi.
All right.
That
You're back.
better?
Yes. Yes, I think so. Perfect. I think we just had a internet weeble in the matrix. So I was just saying to everybody, we're going to have you sing us some August birthdays, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, that's right. The birthdays. Happy birthday to everybody who's born in August. I have the chords somewhere. I wrote them down. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Here they are. They're not there. Okay, I'm just going to make it up. I can't believe I don't know the chords to happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear everyone in August. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. And it does. It sounds great. All right. I will now read our mission statement. With everything we do, we aim to raise the vibe. We teach innovative spiritual practices and principles that inspire deeper love of self and others, transformation, a closer relationship with God, freedom from suffering, expansive joy, prosperity, and healing of the body, mind, and spirit. We are a conscious group of positive, inspired, spiritually motivated individuals transforming lives. We just happen to have a spiritual center. Want to check us out? Yeah. All right. And now, my beloveds, for the announcements. Please join us afterwards for coffee and conversation at 11 a.m.-ish Pacific time via Zoom. Gina will provide the link in the comments section here. And you can also find it on our center's webpage in the Coffee and Conversation event. We build our immunity and spiritual community. Remember to join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific time via Zoom for our spiritual check-in call. All are invited. It's wonderful. You can find the link in our Facebook page under events. We also have a grief group starting up during this unprecedented era of COVID-19, when the world seems to be in turmoil and the ground upon which we stand may feel like it's crumbling. Grief can be even more difficult. So we're blessed to have our assistant spiritual director and certified chaplain, Rev. Diann, facilitate a grief support group via Zoom next month, actually this month. The first one, this group will meet for 5 weeks on Tuesdays, beginning this Tuesday, August 4th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific time. There's no fee to attend, and love offerings will be accepted. Please be sure to email info@cccSL.org to have the Zoom link sent to you. And thank you so much, Reverend Diann Davisson. Thank you. Next Sunday's musician is yours truly, Travis Hogue. All right. Looking forward to that. And also, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're simulcasting now on Facebook and YouTube. So if you'd like to be a subscription on our YouTube channel, please do that. Also, it's not, the slide's not here, but if you wanted to sign up for our newsletter, you can also do that on our website now. So there's a little link, or you could send an email to info@cccSL.org and we'll get you signed up to our spanky cool newsletter. Okay, and lastly, if you are able, please remember to continue to donate to our center during this unique time. Our operations are fully supported by your generosity, and we're looking forward to gathering at our physical center in the future when it's safe. We're still sheltered in place here and live streaming. You can donate here on the Facebook Live with the donate button. Gina will also provide the PayPal link to donate in the comment section here. There it is, scrolling across. And you can also visit our landing page at cccsl.org and click the donate link in the center of the page. Thank you for your consideration. We love you. We miss you. We're sending out a group hug right now. Group hug. Woo! And that, my beloveds, has been the announcements.
Woohoo! Thank you, Travis. So much awesomeness. All right. And I would like to remind you that if there's anything heavy on your heart for which you would like prayer for, or maybe there's something you're looking to manifest in your life, you can email us at info@cccsl.org, and our ecclesiastical team will pray over your prayer requests for the next week. And that team consists of myself, our assistant spiritual director, Reverend Diann Davisson, and our outreach practitioner, the amazing Maria Bucaro. And so I will now turn it over to our beloved Charley for his Science of Mind reading. Hello, Charley.
Well, hi there. Today, I'm going to read a little bit about Ernest Holmes and oneness for all people. Ernest Shirtliff Holmes was a man of inner wisdom, intuition, intelligence, curiosity, and passion. He had the great desire to learn about life on planet Earth, its meaning and purpose. Holmes loved all people, for he believed everyone had a contribution to make to our humanity. He loved nature and was particularly fond of children and animals, for they accept love and affection and openly give love and affection, as well as being instantaneous forgivers. Many who knew him said Holmes was a mystic. He did not wish to be set on a pedestal, as many often tried to do. He met a woman one day, bursting with admiration for him, carried on about how wonderful he was. After several minutes of listening to her accolades, Holmes simply said, "Yes, ma'am, if it were not for all the rocks I carry in my pockets, I would surely drift heavenward." During his life, he learned that there is a potential within everyone that far exceeds any individual understanding. He wanted people to realize their potential and obtain a much higher level of living than they were experiencing. That, I believe, was one of his life goals. His first knowledge was insatiable. He studied ponderings of Socrates, Jesus, Buddha, Phineas Parkhurst Quimby, Judge Thomas Troward, Mary Eddy Baker, and many more philosophers and scriptures and great writings from all around the world. He was one of the last students of the teacher of teachers, Emma Curtis Hopkins. Ernest Holmes had a love for all. How can we do any less? We must have a love and affinity for all, no exceptions, all. We can do no less, and now we can do even more. Let us move forward in oneness and reach out to all. And so it is.
And so it is, Charley. Thank you so much. And as we take that energy and that vibration of oneness, join with me in this time of prayer. And I invite us just to take a nice, deep, relaxing breath together, remembering it is the breath that connects us to the world. For each of us is breathing the breath of God, of love, of kindness, of oneness. That breath is everywhere present. It fills us, it breathes us, and it expresses itself through all of us. And in this moment, I feel and recognize the breath within myself. It is the very breath of life that sustains me. And in my breath of life, I am free to express and to feel that connection with everyone that I come across, everyone that I give thought to. And as I speak my word for myself, I also know it's true for each and every person here, for we are all being breathed with the breath of the divine. And I know that our breath today allows us each to go deeper into our heart, into our feelings, into our tenderness and into our joyfulness, knowing that as we recognize that within ourselves, we are exactly where we need to be. There is no confusion. There's no concerns of outside conditions. We are right where we need to be. And I know today that each of us will hear exactly what our hearts and minds desire. For we are being blessed by this divine service. We are being blessed by each of you that are watching today, that continues to support our community, our time together. And we're here to support you too, because we care about you. We appreciate you, and we love each of you. And we have the most outstanding service today created for each of you. Wow, Amy has already kicked us off with her joyfulness, her fun, her depth, her creativity. I know touches my heart and opens myself up to a deeper revelation of I know what Reverend Elizabeth is going to speak to us today. And I'm grateful for everyone that is participating in our sacred service, for Gina, who's our producer and MC, Travis, our announcement angel, and our musical director, and Charlie, that blesses us with his readings of wisdom every week. I'm also so grateful for Mama Jody and Karen for their leadership as they guide us weekly in our community connection with their love and their compassion, where everyone is welcome to join us. And Reverend Elizabeth, so grateful to her for today. She is going to speak her divine words that we need to hear in the lesson and service today, knowing that the divine intelligence is moving and creating through her with her passion, just like a hot August night. And the beautiful Zoom and internet and YouTube that continues to carry Reverend Elizabeth with us throughout this whole world, her message of love, of oneness, of kindness. Wow, we can always dip back in and listen and to be reminded of the truth. Right here, right now, I am so grateful for the power of prayer, grateful for our community, and so much more. And so we together smile and say together, and so it is. Amen.
Oh, that's so good. You're such a good prayer. Thank you so much for that. And you know what? I want to get us into that gratitude with a classic Karen Drucker tune. Thank you for this day. Every day I say thank you, God. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you. This healing day. Come on. This healing day. This healing day. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my wonderful friends, my wonderful friends, my wonderful friends. How about my health? Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. That's right. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank my radiant health, my radiant health, my radiant health. How about my life? Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank my glorious life, my glorious life, my glorious. Let's clap it out this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Come on. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this healing day. This healing day.
Woo! Yeah. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this, Amy. Thank you for this life.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. What a beautiful presence you are, Amy Steinberg. We're so blessed. So blessed. All right. Hello, beloveds. I'm Reverend Elizabeth Rowley, and I am the spiritual director and senior minister of the Central Coast Center for Spiritual Living in Templeton, California. If you're just tuning in, welcome. We're so glad you're here. And hey, it's August already. What a trip, right? This year is flying by. And the theme for August is inclusion in action. How perfect is that? And so today is August 2nd, and the topic for today is let's get together and feel all right. Now, what do you hear in your mind when you hear those words? Is it just me, or do you also hear Bob Marley, Bob Marley and the Wailers singing, let's get together and feel all right? Okay, I won't sing anymore. I promise. We'll leave the singing to Amy. But I love that song. And there's actually a new version. The Marley Brothers have reimagined this song, and it's available. It's like part of a UNICEF charity thing, and they've created this amazing video. So if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend you go out and look for that and watch it. It will have you stand up and dance and sing. And I even cried a little bit because it was just so beautiful. And I don't know about you all, but I've been having some tender times here in the last couple of weeks, just tenderness. And I feel like a gummy bear that's walking around all squishy and trying not to melt in the sun and avoiding heat lamps. But there's this tenderness, and so we're holding ourselves in this tenderness. And I have to remind myself that we're all walking through this together, and we're going to feel all right. Okay, so it's good. Now, so inclusion in action. So the reason and context for this talk is really that it's an opening on how our central principle of oneness calls us together in a state of diversity, and the fact of inclusion helps us live out this oneness. So oneness does not equal sameness. Unity does not mean uniformity. So you could get a sense of this already in this service today from the different individuals that have been on this screen, yes? From Travis to Reverend Diann to Charley to Amy and now to me. So we're all these unique individualized expressions of the one thing, the divine. And so here we are, and we're called to see the individualization of each other, that there is a uniqueness, that there is a diversity in who we are, and that's okay. And so divine intelligence, this is the source of all that is, and it manifests itself in, through, and as each diverse form of itself. And it is an empowering expression of imagination and creative power. Now, when I think of this divine creative power and it coming into form as each of us, it's just no coincidence that we have Amy Steinberg with us here today, because she is such a goddess of beauty and expression, and she has really allowed her light to shine. And so when you see her come back on at the end of this talk, notice that there are paintings behind her. Those are actually paintings that she painted, or the goddess through her painted. And so she's a channel. And so she brings this beauty and this bright, bold, vivid magnificence to all that she does. At least that's my perception of her. And so we're called to allow ourselves to get our own bloated nothingness out of the way so that we can shine and be that glorious, magnificent presence that we came here to be. Are you with me? Yeah, right. So a part of becoming and stepping into that glorious, radiant magnificence that I know each one of us is at the core of our being, what we're invited to do is examine those beliefs from a stance of self-observation that will help us become more aware of thoughts and ideas that no longer serve us or others. So we've all been birthed into this existence for such a time as this. The time is now. It's not a dress rehearsal. This is happening right now, and we're here for a finite period of time. And so we're called to get out of the way and let the thing itself do what it wants to do through us and as us. And so I have to remind myself of that so I can let myself get out of the way, because there's that part of me that thinks she's less than and that, not enough or whatever. And I know that everybody has their own little voices that come up and try to pull them back, but we are standing in the vibration of our good. We're standing in our unique creative intelligence and power. And so as we continue to do that, we light the way for others, which is such a beautiful gift, you guys. And so I want to talk about unconscious bias and race consciousness, which is race mind, and also simultaneous, it's the same thing as implicit bias, right? And so you might be hearing a lot about implicit bias as of late. So the way unconscious or implicit bias comes to be, according to Arthur Schopenhauer, who's a philosopher, he put it really well. He said that experiences and illuminations of childhood and early youth become, in later life, the types, standards, and patterns of all subsequent knowledge and experience, or, as it were, the categories according to which all later things are classified. Not always consciously, though, not always consciously, and that's the key. And so it is that in our childhood years, the foundation is laid of our later view of the world, and therewith as well of its superficiality or depth. It will be in later years unfolded and fulfilled, not essentially changed, unless you're here today watching this video or you have some understanding that you really have this power to transform your life and to stand in your spiritual magnificence, which I know you do if you're here watching it, whether you're watching it now or next week, right? And so we all have this within us. And as far as race consciousness, we're born into a certain set of beliefs and concepts, whatever year we were born, right? All of us different years and different times, and whatever was going on in the world at that time, we're born into that. So there's a consciousness of the world, a consciousness of humanity that is happening. And this is like happening at a subconscious level, or the implicit level, or the unconscious level. And so we're born into that, and then we grow up and it's underneath. And so it's our calling to pull that up and uproot that and replace it with something magnificent, which is the thing that we would like to see in the world. Now, usually, unfortunately, we begin to see the negativity that's sprouting up around us, and we see that, oh, we don't necessarily like that. That's not something that we want to experience. And so as we see it, then we turn within and we can say, okay, what is this? Where is this coming from? And as Arthur Schopenhauer said, it's not always conscious, right? So it's unconscious. There are things planted there that didn't get planted by you, and maybe didn't get planted by your mom or your dad or your school. Maybe it got dropped in there by the news or something else that happened, right? It's like, okay, so not good, bad, right, wrong, or any of that. We don't need to focus on any of that. What we do want to focus on is uprooting it and replacing it with that which we do want. So thoughts and feelings are implicit if we are unaware of them or mistaken about their nature. We have a bias when, rather than being neutral, there is a preference for or aversion to a person or a group of people. Thus, the term implicit bias is used to describe when we have attitudes towards people or associate stereotypes with them without our conscious knowledge. Now, a fairly commonplace example of this is seen in studies that show that white people will frequently associate criminality with Black people without even realizing they're doing it. And so, okay, so that's happening. So now it's our job to look within and find out how we're creating that, right? So race mind is the subjective thought of the race. I'm talking about the human race. And then subjective, once again, as a reminder for you, is beneath the threshold of consciousness, the inner side, the subconscious. So if our lives are governed by race suggestion, then we are reproducing what has been thought or experienced by the human race for all of time. All right, so you're here today, you're watching this, and you're going, oh, okay, so how do I transform that? How do I resolve that? How do I, I've seen the injustice happening in the world. What is mine to do? You can continue to ask yourself that question, but essentially everyone is called to do their own inner work. We've each got to do our inner work until we can tip the scales, and then that 100th monkey phenomenon occurs, which is a critical mass, and then suddenly there's this new automatic way of being in the world, which becomes our new implicit bias or our new race consciousness. I'm talking about the human race once again. So if you're not sure what the 100th monkey phenomenon was, really brief. There were monkeys on an island, and one of the monkeys, they were all eating sweet potatoes, and one of the monkeys learned that if they washed the sweet potatoes in the ocean, they would then have these delicious sweet potatoes that didn't have any sand on them. And the others just kept eating these sandy sweet potatoes. And you can imagine that's hard to swallow, right? And so, and not very good. And then eventually, one monkey taught the next and the next and the next, until pretty soon, all of the monkeys were washing their sweet potatoes, and then it jumped to another island. That's the critical mass that I'm talking about. So we're called to do our own work, especially when we don't want to, right? I'm sure there's a million other things to do, but we've got work to do. And so as we do our work individually and collectively, something is shifting. You may think, oh, I'm just one person, or, oh, what am I going to do? How is my educating myself? That's not really doing anything. That is so not true, because you're doing your work. And so we're called to have this faith and belief that we are doing our part to create this critical mass, to tip the scales in favor of justice, inclusion, racial equality in the world. Who is with me? Can I get an "and so it is"? Woo! I don't have my number one fan in this room with me. So Travis, are you there? Can I get an "and so it is"? All right. So it reminds me of, so I used to row crew on a rowing team out in Benicia, and that was in the Bay Area, and we were all working towards a common goal. We're on this whaler's boat, and everybody's got an oar, and they're really huge. And so you have to pull it all the way back, and then you go over. And if you're not in sync with the other people, you're going to hurt somebody. You're going to end up hitting somebody with your oar, or you're going to it's going to be a terrible thing. And so we don't want to have any injuries, and we don't want to go in circles in the boat if people stop rowing. We've got to all be moving at the same time and doing the same motion. And so as we continue to do this work of educating ourselves, whatever is mine to do, whatever is yours to do, to help end and dismantle racial inequality. Is that somebody in here? Hi, Travis. Are you here? Oh, he's serious. My fan is in the house. Yay! Oh, yeah! To help dismantle racism. Sorry about that. So we've got our own work to do. So what is mine to do? And we will continue to do this. So oneness does not equal sameness, my friends. oneness does not equal sameness. That is so powerful because in our teaching, sometimes we get confused. There's this whole thing. We just, a lot of us in this community just finished reading the White Fragility book by D'Angelo, and we studied it and we learned so much. And one of the big things that we learned was about being colorblind. So we don't want to be colorblind and say things like, well, I don't see color, or I don't see this. We've got to see the individuality and the unique expression of everybody, because by not seeing it, you're denying the reality that they're facing, Black people are facing, and African American, Black, Indigenous, people of color really are facing every day, and the oppression that they have suffered, And so by seeing that and honoring people for who they are, that opens us up to the possibility of inclusion and a unity in a new way that we maybe hadn't thought of before. So when I consider oneness does not equal sameness, and the simple Hindu greeting and salutation that you do upon meeting, or the valediction of parting ways of namaste. Namaste literally translates as I bow to you. It also has the deeper spiritual meaning that the life force, the divinity, the self, or the God in me is the same in all. Namaste, the God in me honors the God in you. So that way we can namaste each other and see the divine in each other, and see that that divine is expressing in unique and individualized way. Oh, it's so beautiful. So I had an experience of embodying oneness at a 5-night retreat. I've had several experiences, but this one was so powerful for me. And I speak about my silent retreats often because I love them. And so one of my favorite enlightened guys, Adyashanti, was there, and he was the leader, and there were 400 plus attendees at this retreat at Asilomar, and we were there 4 days deep into the container of silence. We were in silence, and then we'd take a break, silence, a break, silence, a break. And so deeper and deeper into the silence each day, right? And so we're in Merrill Hall, which is the big hall at Asilomar, and suddenly everyone's in silence. Suddenly I open my eyes and I look around the room, and I notice that everyone was together in this same silent container, observing the same exact thing, passing thoughts. There was a cough here and a cough there. And then there was inner peace and still bodies and still minds. And then I sort of merged with the eternal presence, and as if I was hovering above the crowd, and then suddenly looking through the eyes of each person, the person next to me, the person before me, the person across the room to the right, and across the room to the left. And I shook my head quickly because I thought, oh no, something's happening, right? You have these eternal, vast, amazing experiences, and then it's like, whoa, what's going on? And so I have this subtle memory of trying to get back into my body or get back into my brain, but it was like I couldn't locate that little me. And then another good head shaking was enough to wake up my thinking, and all I could say was whoa to myself, silently in my head. And then I closed my eyes again, and I was back in the meditation. That was a very deep and profound experience for me. So it may sound a little strange, may sound a little different, but for me, it was very profound, and it was a very mystical experience, and it transformed me. I recognized that the magnitude of this realization for me at the time where I was spiritually was a little bit vast for me to contain, right? Like I wanted to move away from it. And so I'm very grateful, though, that it has gradually integrated within me over time. So oneness, this type of oneness presents the same dilemma, right, as many other realizations that we have on this path. It's the great paradox of that we are, in fact, spiritual beings having a human experience, that we are both divine and human, that it is two sides of the same coin. You have a quarter, there's heads and there's tails, right? And so we can experience this vast, eternal presence, this ginormity of expression and spirit. And then there's, we fall into sort of, it's kind of like a trance of being human. Yes? You with me?
Oh, yeah.
All right. And so we are individualized, unique expressions of the divine. Now, I've discovered that as long as I'm having this human experience, I must honor both the oneness, the divinity in me, that is the divinity in you, and the uniqueness that is me and the uniqueness that is you. Now, I can't afford to forget nor undervalue the human experience that is expressed in so many different ways, nor can I afford, nor can any of us afford to pretend that we are all the same. Underneath, we are all the same, yes, but I'm also a 5'3", 40-something, we'll leave it at that, female, white with brown hair and hazel eyes. I'm athletic. You may be 5'8", 22-year-old male person of color with brown hair, brown eyes, and not athletic. So each of us with our own unique life experiences, our conditioning, our ancestry, and our heritage make us this beautiful masterpiece, this beautiful work of art that we are. So when you go and look at art, you appreciate the whole piece, right? Or you read a book, you can appreciate that whole book for all that it is. Or you can not like it, whatever, privileges, right? So each of us in our own unique life experiences, our conditioning, our ancestry, and our heritage is what we bring to the table. So we are either privileged or burdened by the circumstances that we were born into. And that's the part that has been beyond our control. We're either privileged or burdened. I want you to really get that. Some of us are privileged by the circumstances we were born into. Some of us have been burdened, right? And so each of us is on our own unique individualized path to transform that, right? We're sort of meeting in the middle. Privileged meets burdened, and then there's like a new path. It's like the middle way. That's what I'm about. So living in this paradox makes life a thrilling adventure, if you ask me. God is all there is, and you are God in form in your own uniquely fabulous way, divine and human. Just like that quarter has a head side and a tail side. And so both are the quarter, yet both sides are different. We are one, but we are not the same. We are one in the mind of God. We are made in the image and likeness of it, but we are not the same. Look at me and look at yourself, and you can see that, right? It seems obvious. So we are called to honor the divinity within one another and simultaneously honor the uniqueness of one another as the individualized expression of the divine that we are. So we cannot honor one without the other. To do so is to bypass or dismiss the human experience and pretend that it is not happening. And it's like saying that the quarter is either only heads or only tails, or it's either heads nor tails. It's just a quarter. It's all one quarter. So that's the mistake or conundrum we may find ourselves in embodying this verity of oneness. We may want to stay in this expansive place, but inevitably we'll be coming back into this place of humanity, which is where we are. And so we can thank Spirit and know that we're looking through the eyes of the beloved presence all the time. So I invite you today, as you go forward into your day, to look at the people around you, whether you're looking at them on TV, or maybe you've gone for a walk, or maybe you're waiting in line at the grocery store with your mask on. Notice the people, notice what color they are, notice everybody around you without judgment. Just notice their unique and glorious beauty, and imagine what their ethnicities may be, and look at the different body shapes and the different heights of people, and just honor that and recognize that and love that, feel that appreciation bubble up from within you. And so somebody asked, can we be privileged by our burdens? I think so. Yeah, you can be privileged by your burdens and you can be burdened by your privileges, right? I mean, it's the same. So ask yourself also, as you move through your day, how might I help create a world of inclusion? How may I contribute to creating a world that works for everyone? So that is about oneness does not equal sameness. Now, John Lennon simplified oneness as I am he, as you are he, as you are me, and we are all together. That's so beautiful. And our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said, but unity does not mean uniformity. Unity means a oneness of purpose. Unity means what is best and safe for the majority without losing sight of each individual member of that majority and each location in it. That's another profound expression. So inclusion in action. Let's get together and feel all right. So we want to use mindfulness to become the observer of our thoughts and separate from the implicit bias that we may be embodying, and begin to explore and allow those habituated ideas to be informed by the divine, and allow an awareness of inclusion to be the natural expression of self, releasing what does not serve the greater good. So we're going to be called to take the backward step, right? To use mindfulness. You just take a backward step and become the observer. And meditation will really help all of us with this. So when we meditate, then we have created some space around us. And so with that space, we move from unconsciously reacting to the world around us to mindfully responding, which is the key. So you also don't want to get stuck in the observer mode. That can happen too, where you're just observing the world around you and you just are an observer of your whole life. Then you become somebody who's in the bleachers of life and you're watching the game happen, as it were, and not really in the game. You're observing all of your thoughts. You'll notice when you take that backward step that you've got this commentator who is talking about all of the stuff going on all around you, but you'll want to step back and see all that's happening in your own mind. And as you do so, if you don't come back from being that observer, then you'll begin to think that those thoughts are your reality. But as you step back, you see that those thoughts are thoughts and they're all passing, right? You with me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. So you've got to stay alert and in the game of life. And it's like meditate, chop wood, carry water, meditate, chop wood, carry water, meditate. And so I love Landmark Education and what they teach about rackets. So they say we're all running rackets. We're all living our lives from rackets or strong suits, and rackets are something that we do where we have a payoff that we get, and there's a cost, there's a price that we pay for running that racket. So for example, it could be that your beloved never makes the bed, for example, and you get so upset about this. They never make the bed. I'm so tired of this. They never ever make that bed. Why don't you ever make the bed? What's wrong with you? And so what happens in that frame of mind and in that racket, the cost is a lack of love and affinity. You've shut yourself off. There is a wall now, and the love and affinity is no longer present and available to you because you're running a racket. And the payoff that you get is you're right. They never do make that bed. You are so right. And that person is wrong. Wrong, and so you get to be right is the payoff. But the question becomes, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And so that is a brief overview of rackets, right? So stop running rackets. You'll notice when you're running them and you can just stop them. And as you stop them, what happens? You free up all of this energy to create and to be loving and to experience a life that you love. And you're so free. This mental energy is freed up and not just spinning on this circle of a racket that is unproductive. So the next is apply conscious effort to recognize bias and find opportunities to practice inclusion. Now, examples of this could be that you attend a diversity inclusion webinar, maybe you read books on the subject, you reach out within your own community, and you can choose to look into other options and see what other programs or opportunities are really available for you. So become the observer, recognize your bias. Every time we become conscious of unconscious bias, it no longer runs us. Just like those rackets, you identify what they are, and then they no longer run you. Now you are free to create from your divinity, the divine expression of love that we all know you are. So unconscious bias is comfortable. It's like the comfort zone, you know. It is what we know based on what we have learned somewhere along the way, and has now become our reference point from which to behave, act, and believe as we move through the world. And so we're all called to get out of our comfort zones and to step into the discomfort and begin to get comfortable in the discomfort. Well, that's an oxymoron if I ever heard one. All right, I got to speed it up. I'm running out of time here. So we've been studying the White Fragility book study at the center, and we just ended like a week ago, and we've learned so much. We've gotten totally uncomfortable, right? We've learned about being colorblind, where we don't see color, and we learned that while that's a well-meaning, it has a negative impact because it's essentially disregarding the oppression that Black people and Indigenous and people of color have experienced as the result of this implicit bias. We learned about white solidarity, and that is the unspoken code of white people, that we would never embarrass each other by creating racial discomfort or calling out a racist joke or comment. And then we learned about white social capital and, you know, what you get if you stay quiet. And that means what you get if you don't interrupt racist comments or jokes. And then the white silence was avoiding discussing the topic of racism at all costs out of fear. And white tears, white people crying to avoid discussing racism. So we learned all of this, and we were able to look at these places. Okay, so have I done that, or where have I witnessed any of these in my life? And again, it's just like the rackets and just like the unconscious bias. When we begin to see it, we can begin to dissolve it. It's no longer how we move through the world. We are creating a new automatic response, right? And the painful and uncomfortable part is calling each other on it, which is also beautiful because that's how we transform it. So what a gift. And then lastly, we want to set an intention to be inclusion in action and provide opportunities to be inclusive as a demand upon the law, which is fulfilled and revealed in our lives as inclusion. So we're setting our intention for something, and it's like throwing your hat over the fence and then you go and get the hat. So that's how powerful we are. Whenever I set my intention, it comes into form. And it's just the way it is. I practice setting my intention consciously on the regular, and then eventually my intention is set unconsciously according to my new belief. How cool is that? Then if I don't have new beliefs yet, then my intention is auto set by the beliefs of the past. I'm not enough, I'm too fat, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, or whatever it is, right? And then you may have noticed this with some of your friends, that like suddenly something happens in someone's life and you feel blindsided, like where did that come from? How did that happen? Well, it's some kind of unconscious belief. So setting our intention for inclusion is us throwing our hats over the fence. and then we're going to get the hat. So I love that in our teaching, we don't draw a circle and exclude other people. We always are drawing the circle larger and bringing more people in. We are all inclusive, and it is magnificent. It's such a good way to be. Nobody gets left behind. And so the call for us today is to really look in our lives. How can I draw a bigger circle to include more people? And so setting our intention for inclusion. Are you with me in that?
Oh, yeah.
So as we set our intention for inclusion, we're going to take that into prayer right now. I'm going to take a little sip. And I invite you to turn your attention inward with me in this moment and return to that beautiful, expansive space within, which is the space where I absolutely know that God is all that there is. It's all that there ever was, and it's all that there ever will be. And I know that each individual here has been birthed into this experience. We're all wearing these different earth suits, and it's fun. It's kind of like on Halloween, you go to a Halloween party and you get to see all the different costumes people are wearing. And so it's always so much fun, like, oh, wow, that's so creative. And so I know that for each of us, as we go forward from here, we're seeing these expressions in our lives as, wow, that's so creative. Look how God birthed into existence as this person. Look how God birthed itself into existence as Travis and Gina, Charley, Karen, Mama Jody, and so on, Amy. And we get to have this appreciation, and it's love. And so there is so much love for the diversity that we are experiencing in our lives. And we set our intention in this moment to be inclusive. And I know and claim for each of us that we draw the circle larger and we are inviting people in. So we have noticed what's missing, and we can let go of that now and draw our circle larger to invite other people in. How do we invite them in? Call people you haven't talked to in a while for whatever reason. Let go of any excuses. Let go of whatever walls that we have built up that won't allow us to take that next step. We can just release those right now. We release anything that's hindering or blocking our experience of inclusion in action. There is nothing to fear. As we do so, we step more into the unity and the oneness of all of life. We get to experience it to a greater degree than ever before, and it is so very good. I am so grateful, and I'm so grateful that each of us is taking and making an effort to amalgamate active listening, conscious communication, and becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. We are indeed fulfilling this intention to put inclusion in action in our lives right now in this moment. What a beautiful gift. And I'm so grateful that we are each receptive to our change. I'm receptive to my transformation. Whatever has been hindering or blocking me before, whatever has been feeding underneath in the subconscious realm, whatever has been feeding the systemic racism, I know that it is dissipated right here and right now. It's dissipated from me back into the nothingness from whence it came. And what I see is beauty, magnificence, radiance. I honor and appreciate every being. Oh, what beautiful gifts everybody brings to the table. There's nothing to be threatened by. There's nothing to be afraid of. There is only love. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel all right. And so in that goodness, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this day. I'm so grateful for the beloved service that we have had. And I'm grateful for this time together and for the rest of our beautiful days unfolding exactly as they should, because we are exactly where we are supposed to be. Woo! God is so good all the time, as me, as you, as everybody. So thank you, Spirit. I know this prayer is complete, and I send it out to that loving and creative action of the law, knowing it is done. And I invite you to help me anchor this truth by saying with me, and so it is.
And so it is.
Woo!
And so it is. I've been in bondage. I've been held back. I've been imprisoned by thoughts of fear and lack. And I have had anger. And I've had guilt. These are the bricks on which my life's been built. But I'm free to turn it around. Can I hear a hallelujah? Yes, I'm free to turn it around. Yeah, we are all free to turn it around. Free to look up instead of looking down. I get so tired looking down. But see, I've been attracted, it's true, to negative thought. And I get so distracted. Shiny thing, shiny thing. I get so distraught. But see, I know that I am responsible, only me, for my own life. Oh yeah, I gotta lift my chin up and look to the light. Oh, yes, I'm free to turn it around. We are all free to turn it around. Yeah, we are all free to turn it around. No, no, no more, no, no more looking down. I get so tired, I get so tired. See, I know I've been in bondage. I've been held back. I've been in prison, my thoughts, and prison, my mouth, thoughts, and prison, my mouth, thoughts, and fear and lack. And I know I have had anger. Oh, I've been so mad. And I've had guilt. Oh, it's true. But guess what? These are no longer the bricks we're dismantling. Oh yeah, these are no longer the bricks. We are practicing inclusion. These are no longer the bricks on which my life is built. 'Cause I've turned it around.
Yes. Woo! So awesome. I got the God bumps while you were singing that. So amazing.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, beloveds, it's now time for our gifts, tithes, and offerings. And as a reminder, you can donate on our Facebook there. There's a donate button, or you can use PayPal. You can go to paypal.me/CCCSL love, and or you can mail a check. We appreciate your giving. It really keeps us in operation, and we're so grateful for all of your support right now in these interesting times, right? And so I now will read the giving affirmation. I invite you to please repeat after me. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift.
From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift.
I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper.
I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper.
It is evidence of my faith and my belief.
It is evidence of my faith and my belief.
It does great work in the world.
It does great work in the world.
And returns to me multiplied abundantly.
And it returns to me multiplied abundantly.
And so it
And
is.
so it is.
Woo-hoo! All right. And my friends, won't you know with me that you are never alone, that God is where you are right now and always, and all that you ever need do is look within, and it is here you will find you are guided, sustained, directed, and inspired by a source that knows only good. Joyously let us make use of these gifts in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. Please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my pocketbook.
Life is in my pocketbook.
Life is in my relationships.
Life is in my relationship.
I think it.
I think it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I express it.
I express it.
I accept it.
I accept it.
Just the way that it is.
Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is not.
And just the way that it is not.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
Woo!
Oh, I have to close with this song since you were saying that. There's something wonderful. You know this Harold Payne song? Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful. Something wonderful. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Guess what? I can feel it in my body, yeah. I can feel it in my soul, and I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Sing it with me, something wonderful, yeah. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, yeah.
Awesome. Woo! That's fantastic. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. We love you. So great.
So great to be here with you. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, that was fantastic. So everybody, we're going to jump on over to Zoom. Amy, you'll be able to join us for a little bit?
I'm going to pop in and say hey to everybody for sure. Yes.
Cool. We're going to go get coffee. We'll be right there.
Yay.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, everybody. Head over to the Zoom link, and Amy's going to join us, and we look forward to seeing you there. So, something wonderful. All right. See y'all soon.